Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. All right, this is going to be a response entitled, Be Not a Lion in Thine House. She needs a leader, not a beater. All right, she needs a leader and not a beater. Now, just real quick, there was a video put up by Elder Yashawamba yesterday. I think it was yesterday morning. May have been the day before that. Anyway, it's entitled, Be Not a Lion in Thine House. Remnant Say 144. All right, very insightful video, straight to the point, as I want this one to be straight to the point as well. And he made some great statements, just an exhortation and advice for younger brothers, for all the brothers, really. And basically, that scripture, be not a lion in thine house, let's go to it and read it now if we can. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 30. It says, it's right here, be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. And when you being a lion in your house, what would be the nature of a lion? The nature of a lion is to be rough, right? The king of the jungle, as it were. Now, we know that when you come into the truth as men, you get your manhood back and this and that, but you have to learn over a period of time. Your brothers have got women, he's got kids, you live in the house with them, or even just being around your parents or other folks. You got to be careful how you particularly when you're dealing with your woman, though, with your woman and your kids, those that are under you. You have to be very careful and don't be as a lion in your house, like Elder Yashua was going into. You can't just, get all that energy stored up and you hear the apostles or other brothers say things one way or another. Like, for example, I'll tell you something that I dealt with, or that I've experienced. I don't remember what elder it was that said, in the past, your woman is a possession, like a pair of shoes. You can do whatever you want to do with your shoes, right? Now, at the time, I had a wife that was in the truth, and when she would hear quotes like that, and she would continuously nag me about it, because she started to feel like a second-class citizen, like a person said, if you want to take your shoes and throw them into the corner, you can just do whatever you want to do, and that used to be a source of a lot of contention with me and her. Now, I had to learn over a period of time, which I'm a lot wiser than I used to be. You can't let these women push you into a situation where you're going to get into a physical altercation with them, because the laws and shit are set up to where you can easily, if something happens, you can easily go down, man. So be careful, and a lot of times when you let these women hear your videos or hear the videos of other apostles, elders, and different brothers, a lot of times it's going to bring, they're going to hear things the wrong way. And when you listen to things, you can't, if like the Elder Yashua said, if you hear something in the video, you women, if it ain't got nothing to do with you, if it doesn't apply to you, it's just who it applies to. You got to let it roll off your back, because a lot of times these women will hear videos or hear statements being made when the brothers will say women or these women or whatever. Well, really, it ain't got nothing. If it don't apply to you, how can you be mad about it? If I hear somebody talk about deadbeat dads or this or that, if I know it ain't talking about me, why the hell would I be mad? But this message is for really you brothers out there, man. Be careful. I know situations get rough. Women will jump in your face, this, that, and the other, but you can't let that shit make you go down the wrong road. Now, I want to read, before we read that. Doggone, I do that every video now. This thing's so sensitive. Like, as soon as you touch the scripture, it just fly out of the window just flies out. I think it's Colossians 4 is what I had. But I'm going to read a few scriptures here, and you have to remember this. It's the same thing when you out there in the world, when you deal with people, you're able to do this. You have to do this too when you deal with your woman. You have to be the same way when you deal with your woman, because she's the weaker vessel, man. Evil spirits will get on her more easily. And I can say this because from a place of experience, you can't let the tension, from the world, what you've been dealing with, and then the truth, and then you hear me, you watch a video about women, one brother getting on women and being extra harsh, which that's fine that he did that, but you have to apply to your situation according to how your situation is. You can't just fly off the handle like, yeah, these women. Then as soon as your woman say, hey, babe, I don't got to answer to you. You can't do that. You got to, let the punishment fit the crime, as the old saying goes. You got to deal with balance. Now, this is Colossians 4 verse 5. It says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Who's the one with the wisdom? That's you. To whom much is given, much is required. So if you got the wisdom, and you see her being vexed by evil spirits and the evil spirits using her on the Sabbath to vex you, don't you lash out, man. Right? Don't lash out. You have to remember, you got to be the one with the wisdom. You got to, be the lead. Like I said, she's looking for a leader, not a beater, right? And we're going to get into that a little bit. You got to be careful, brothers. Just because the woman is your possession and the scriptures say what they say, she belong to you, she your possession. Yeah, but in this society, you ain't set up like that. And for goodness sake, stop thinking that you in the kingdom of heaven. Babylon the Great is not the pre-kingdom of heaven. This place ain't nothing like the kingdom. Let's read it again. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. The Most High gave you the wisdom, and you're to lead your household with that wisdom. Now, at the end of the day, if she buck up and say, you ain't my leader, there ain't really nothing you can do. You got to do the best you can do with what you got. That's all that's being said. All right. And I want to also make the point, as Elder Yashawamba said, there's nothing wrong with loving your woman. You can't think like you being a sucker or you being weak because you show love. The scriptures say, husbands, love thy wives. Do they not? I want to read you a brief account of what happened with King David and some of his men. It says, David's victory over the Amalekites. 1 Samuel 30 verse 1. And it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the third day, that the Amalekites had invaded the south in Ziklag and smitten Ziklag and burned it with fire. So as King David and his men were away, right, Amalek came in and raided the village basically, and had taken the women captives that were therein. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captives. Did you hear that? So they came back and found the villages burned with fire, right? Everything messed up, and everybody was gone. Their wives and children were missing. Let's see, did they say, well, no big deal, casualties of war? It says, then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. So this shows you right there, Israelite men love their families, love their wives, love their kids. Don't try to be Mr. Extra Hard, man. The hardness is for the battlefield. When you come home, you're supposed to be a little bit, you got to be a different way. Now, at the end of the day, you got to keep everything in perspective and keep everything in balance, right? Ain't nobody sitting here saying be our extra, super duper Hebrew Israelite family. No, we ain't saying that. But you got to keep things in perspective. Use balance. And there's nothing wrong with loving your family, loving your wife, loving your kids. But you can't get all extra wrapped up into it like a lot of these jakes do. It says again, then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. So they was messed up, man. Right? And it says, and David's two wives were taken captives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess and Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. So we see King David having multiple wives here, right? And it's in more than one place. But to you today, that's another thing you can't push. You being a lion in your house, if you got a wife and she say, she in the truth and she all right with the whole, I don't really want to get into that and touch on that. Some people do that. Great Millstone, we don't push that and we don't do it. But you ain't going off if you got multiple wives. But we're not the congregation that pushes that. But what you cannot do is the woman that you with, she ain't with that. And then you just forcing it anyway. You trying to, I want another wife. The scripture I can give me another wife. And then you're gonna fuck up your life, man. Don't fuck up your life just trying to be something, because this is not, on this side, we're not really even set up to be like that, more or less. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. The law says what it says. Ain't nobody standing in your right in the way of your right as an Israelite man. But we giving you advice. You're gonna fuck up your whole life trying to be something. You're gonna fuck around and have neither one of the women, because these women will agree and say they're okay with it because they know this in the scriptures, but deep in themselves they really ain't okay with it. So you got to be walking wisdom toward them that are without. Even if she suggested and say, well, it'd be nice. No, don't fall into the trap, man. She may be just saying that to check you, see where your mind is. You got more important things to worry about than trying to lay with these different women. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. You're barely going to have time enough for one wife, let alone 2, 3, whatever else. And David's two wives were taken captives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess and Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters, but David encouraged himself in the Lord his power. And you can go and read the rest of that. 1 Samuel chapter 30. Just read that to show you that Israelite men have always and will always love their families and love their wives. So don't think that we're the brutish sort that we ain't got no feelings. No, we love our families, and it's okay. It's okay to love your family, man. It's okay to love your wife. All right. Now, let's go through this chapter here kind of slow. We're gonna go through a few verses of it. It says godly living. You see that? Godly living, and you have to again take everything with a grain of salt. I'm not giving you a different message than what our apostles teach and preach. Okay, it's just the way niggas take it in. You have to listen to what's being said. Listen through the spirit what's being said unto you. You got to use balance. Sure, the scriptures say, let them that have wives be as though they had none, right? But if you did your videos, you went to camp, you did everything you're supposed to do, you got time for your family, right? And when you're doing that, you got to be careful. You got to be careful how you deal. That's why the scripture said, what did it say? Let's go back over there. For Ecclesiastes 4:30. Be not a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. You know that the Most High gave you the power. He gave you the authority. You don't have to constantly reestablish your authority in the house, man. You don't have to keep doing that. All right. And if you have a situation where the woman don't want to, she don't want to heed your authority, and you got a choice. You can either deal with it how it is, figure out what make her, keep the peace in the house, or you can dip. Ain't no need to be trying to wrestle her like she a bucking bronco and you're going to try to break her to get her to understand. No, ain't no point in doing that. You're going to wind up in trouble. 1 Peter 3:1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. There it says they supposed to be in subjection to you, but they wasn't raised like that. And the same way you had to learn, she has to learn. You got to be patient enough to let her learn, let her grow. But if not, then hey, you got to make it up in your mind to deal with it how it is. To don't be offended at the fact that she ain't bowing down to your every command. It goes on and says that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. If a wife has got an unbelieving husband, right, she just got to be good to him and be patient and hope that, as it says, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. That word conversation means manner of life and conduct. You see? You can look it up real quick. Conversation, discussion, it says talk. No, not what we want. I should just look it up here. You can actually go here and look at it. Conversation. And I don't want this to be real long. I just want to kind of make a few points.
Strong's G391. Anastrafe. Anastrafe.
There it is. Manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment. That's what it is. It's not a conversation that's with your mouth, but a conversation is in manner of life. So women that have unbelieving husbands, through how good you treat him, he'll be able to see, Lord willing, he'll be able to see that he needs changes. See? Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Right. Again, conversation, manner of life, your chaste manner of life, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of the Most High, of great price. And the women, you're supposed to be meek, lowly, quiet, not boisterous, bold, jumping in your man's face. But brothers, if they're like that, you gotta, deal with it the best you can deal with it. It goes on, for after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in the Most High adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. And I got to stop right there, because one thing you don't want to do, don't let the thing go to your head, because you find out the truth now, men. Now you're doing everything, and shit can get kind of cultish. You want a woman walking around behind you calling you Lord, man. If the woman don't want to call you Lord, she don't got to call you Lord, okay? Like I said, this is not the pre-kingdom of heaven. Like we're going to start now. You're going to treat me how we're going to treat me in the kingdom. This place is nothing like the kingdom. It's going to be a completely different vibe. We can't even pretend like we in the kingdom, because we don't know what it's going to be like, because we're going to be completely changed. Our body's going to be changed. We're going to be sin free. See, so we're gonna be able to see things that we can't see now. So don't be trying to make the women call you Lord. I done seen situations like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can do whatever you want to do in your own house if it's agreed upon, between the two parties. If you want to do that, do it. Brothers, I'm telling you now, don't get in the situation. You got two wives. Y'all go to Walmart, both the wives with you. You know what I mean? Then you got to walk around how you call it. Yes, my Lord. Yes, Lord. Oh, my Lord is calling. I got to answer this. It's too much. But you got to do what you got to do. I'll just leave it at that. It goes on. It says, likewise, listen, likewise, ye husbands. You know, to read the rest of the verse. It says, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. Are they supposed to obey us? Sure, they're supposed to. Right? But also, if your wife got wishes or things that she wants you to do, you're supposed to try to do it too. It's just not just a one-way thing. You can't just be a damn tyrant. Be not a lion in thy house. Period, man. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. You hear that? You got to deal with a woman according to knowledge. You the one with the wisdom. You the one with the knowledge. It's going to go on and give you another great line here. It says, giving honor unto the wife. Nothing wrong with honoring her. Nothing wrong with loving her. You just don't be bowing all down. You know what I mean? Putting on a pedestal. And it really is nothing wrong with putting your woman on a pedestal in your own privacy, here or there. I'm just saying overall, we don't put women on a pedestal. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. Remember that. Very important. She is the weaker vessel, more susceptible to evil spirits, more susceptible to spirits talking in her head. And she's looking at your behavior. She's looking at what you're doing. Okay? Don't let the damn truth get you into a situation, or don't let situations make it seem like it's the truth fault. No, it's your fault. You got to deal. You got to deal as a man. You can't just be all extra on fire with the scriptures, and then when it comes to dealing with, your home life, you just a damn closed book. No, you still got to deal, man. That's why we give warnings to brothers and tell you brothers are better off being single, because it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to balance. Doing all the lessons, the videos, the camps, the live streams, then you still got to work. Then you come home, other people want your attention that hadn't seen you too. It's a lot to deal with, man. Ain't nobody just been saying that. That Family Guy shit, it's a tough situation, but some brothers got that. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. Where you going to get the knowledge? From the men of old, from the scriptures, right? From the oracles, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. She is the weaker vessel. You can't ever forget that. And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. You see it? And I mean, that's really why I want to leave that at right there. So you heard that, about 7 verses giving you some sound advice. And I did it again. Let's go here. Now I want to touch on this real quick. Right? And also, the Spirit is prompting me to mention this right here, because I've heard of situations. Brothers, when you come into this truth and you got you a woman, let's see here. Hold on. Damn, how's the scripture go? Yeah. Not power over her. Damn. Power. When you come into this truth and you got a woman, man, and you have disagreements, right? You can't don't use the scriptures to try to make your wife have sex with you as much as you want her to, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the scriptures say what they say, but you have to apply balance dealing with what's going on here in this kingdom, Babylon the Great. I'm going to tell you now, when you try to use this, it's going to wind up blowing up in your face at some point. 1 Corinthians 7:1, now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Right, you better off if you don't have a woman when you're in this faith. But, as he goes on, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Right? That's just straight and plain to the point. To keep you from doing things that you should not do, you should have that outlet. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. You cannot use this scripture when she is feeling bad to try to, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna get all extra into it. Just be careful. A lot of bad shit can come from this, okay? Because a lot of times these women will agree, well, you know, you right. Then afterwards it's gonna be, when I was with him, he was crazy. He was trying to make me have sex when I didn't want to. Be careful. Don't be a lion in your own house. And that can fall under that, right? Don't be roughhousing, man. Be careful. It says, defraud ye not one the other, except to be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. See? So you heard it right there being read. All right. Now the woman don't supposed to withhold from you, but again, you in Babylon the Great. And there's a lot of things that are on their side. So you have to remember that shit. Now let's deal with this, because that domestic violence stuff, that's a no-no. Okay? That's a no-no. You're gonna wind up in a bad place. I'm just gonna hit a couple of scriptures here. It says, overseers and deacons, 1 Timothy 3:1. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. And you know, you may not have a potential label on you as a bishop, but you got to look at it. If you're a camp leader, or even if you just a brother teaching by yourself, you the head of your camp, are you not? It says a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker. You hear that? No striker. What does that mean? You can't be beating on women, man. Okay, this don't mean that if you ain't a bishop, then you can't beat women. No, doesn't mean that. You got to watch it. Be very careful. I know, you know, you got a lot going on in your mind and your head. I know the situation as it is. Yeah, you the king of your house, this, that, and the other. But you have to, hey, if you can avoid it, do so. You wind up in a terrible situation, man. I know from experience. I mean, I can't, shit. How else could I speak on it? I know from experience, and the least little thing can get you caught up. You know, if she trying to have contention, if it's that bad, you might need to just dip. If I had things to do over again, I would just left. You know what I'm saying? Not giving the wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, nor covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. And if you can do that, you, like I said, some situations you're gonna come into and you're gonna realize that this is just toxic. I need to bounce. But a situation that's working, let it work. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of the Most High? You heard a lot of words here being thrown around. Brawler and striker. Those should be the ones that you pay attention to. This is Titus 1:6. I started 5. For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city as I had appointed thee. We know you got the same thing now. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless. Blameless, man. Your home life should mirror your life on camera. You shouldn't be doing nothing on in your home life that you can't talk about. And what I mean by that is, let me change that phrase. You shouldn't be doing nothing in your home life that if it were to come out, the ministry would be blamed for it. Okay? For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of the Most High, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker. There it is again. And it don't mean you can't drink wine, you can't be given to it, right? And if you get angry, you ain't going off. The scriptures say, be ye angry and sin not. It don't mean don't get angry. It just means the least little thing shouldn't make you fly off the handle. Not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre. Let's look at this word here, striker. Let's see what it says. And you know what? Let's first get another version here. See what it says. NLT, right? An elder is a manager of the Most High's household, so he must live a blameless life. He must not be arrogant or quick-tempered. He must not be a heavy drinker, violent or dishonest with money. NIV, since an overseer manages the Most High's household, He must be blameless, not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not given to drunkenness, not violent, not pursuing dishonest gain. And somebody may look at quick-tempered and say, well, that brother, he got a quick temper. Scoffers come, you cuss him out. That's different, man. A whack-ass scoffer, when we dealing in the spirit, you come in, you bringing fucking folly. Yeah, I will flip on your ass quick. Because you messing with the Most High's work when you doing that. But in my home life, I ain't quick-tempered, man. I'm a patient person, right? I'm easygoing in my regular life. I done had situations at work with motherfuckers getting on my nerves, and I still just sit there and just bear it. You know, every situation, things are a case-by-case situation. ESV, for an overseer as the Most High steward must be above reproach. He must not be arrogant or quick-tempered or a drunkard or violent or greedy for gain. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like this one. CSB, as an overseer of the Most High's household, he must be blameless, not arrogant, not hot-tempered, not an excessive drinker, not a bully, not greedy for money. You can't be a bully. You can't have the people in your house afraid to talk to you because your ass is a bully, man. And I mean, don't get me wrong. You go through stages and levels where you learn these things, but the more you go, the farther you go along, you have to learn. Be not a lion in thy house. A lion in your house is a bully. Be not a lion in thy house, right? No striker, man. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly. And let's say your children do go off and go out of line. You gotta do what you do as a father, right? Or as a man of the Lord, you gotta do what you gotta do. That don't mean you know all of a sudden now your position gonna be taken away because your damn son went and smoked some damn weed or got into some shit. Going on, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of the Most High, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre. Now I want to see what striker says here. Right? When you strike somebody or something, you hit.
Strong's G 4131. Plague-taste.
And believe me, I know a lot of times the women jump and they challenge your authority, but you know, before you know it, you be done something, right? And afterwards you feel like you feel low. Because, I mean, you know, this is Babylon the Great, man. Spirits get on people. It says, bruiser, ready for a blow, a pugnacious, contentious, quarrelsome person. Here it says a smiter, right here. A smiter, i.e. pugnacious, quarrelsome striker. A smiter. Let's see what that word say. Strike with a firm blow. See, that's what it is. Smite with a firm blow. You can't be a striker, man. Pugnacious. What's pugnacious? You can't, yeah, the domestic violence stuff, leave it alone, man. Combative. Eager or quick to argue, quarrel, or fight. Yeah, you can't, you know. You gotta let that type of stuff go. You're gonna be better off, brothers. Trust me. You young brothers coming into the truth, you trying to reassert your dominance of the household. Now you got this truth. I ain't gonna let no woman talk to me no any kind of way. Hey, you can't stop them, man. This society is set up for that. If you can't deal with it, in reality, the reality of the situation, brothers, no matter what woman you get, I don't care how nice, how sweet, how meek, how gentle she is, at some point, you're gonna have a disagreement and she gonna talk. If you can't deal with that, you don't need no woman, man. If you're gonna fly out the handle every time a woman challenge you, you don't need a woman, because this is what they do. They challenge you, man. It ain't always what happens, it's how you handle it. So we read enough. You should understand. Let's read it. Let's finish it off. It says, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, holding fast the faithful word as he has been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. And I'm gonna go back to the point was made about, you know, dealing with that sexual stuff. If she withhold from you, you can't, you know, according to the scriptures, I can't rape you. I'm gonna take it. You know, no, man, no. Let it be. Let it be. Believe me, you want to do it as much as you want to do it. You're just trying to, you know, mess with your head, perhaps. Don't get in them situations, brothers, because we don't want to get them calls in the middle of the night or late at night. Your ass locked up. You got charges on you for this and that and the other. You got to learn how to do what? Ecclesiastes 4:30. Be not as a lion in thy house. You gotta not be a lion in your house, man. Because, hey, this is part of the truth. Learning how to maneuver and deal with other people, especially in your own house, especially with your woman. You gotta learn how to do it. And if you can't do it, you don't need no woman. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.